everybody. It's John, your Indian Cine-MANIAC, with the final Mirzapur TV series review and reaction. I'm going to tell you why it's the final. I've already reviewed up episodes 1 through 6 of season 2. And I've noticed that not a lot of you are, I'm not getting a lot of views, which is fine, but I'm also not getting a lot of comments, which tells me one of two things. You're not interested in what I think about this series, which is fine, or you don't like how I'm doing it. I'm not really sure. So I've just decided to do the last 4 episodes because I've seen the whole series and I'm done with season 2. I am really looking forward to season 3. I just want you to know that. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to talk about each episode, but I'm only going to talk some highlights from it, things that really stuck out. I'll probably spend the most time on the finale, which I just watched. Okay, so episode 7 was Ode Balav, and few highlights for me. Golu talking, she's starting to like this power thing. I can see that, but she says she's going to start seducing somebody, the Tayagi brother, and she says you're not the only man swayed by a woman. I kind of like that. There's a lap dance scene where Munna starts insulting Tayagi. So the old Moon is coming back because he hasn't really been to the forefront in the first 6 episodes. Again, all Bauji does is watch wildlife shows, and the narration for the show always relates to what's happening around him. Now Sharad is dealing with Yadvad, JP, the brother. So there's all kinds of double crosses and alliances being formed, which is kind of interesting. In fact, Guddu and Golu make a deal with the younger Tayagi brother because the father doesn't want to do drugs, and this is all on the all all off to the side, so the father and the older brother doesn't know about it. There's a scene where he goes to this barber shop, and a guy named Sheku is the owner, and he's shaving somebody, and the guy he's shaving is so freaked out he leaves, and he's got half it done. And that's a whole scene there that's kind of interesting. Let's see. Dimpy and Robin are starting to flirt. Oh, okay. So what happens in this? So in the barber shop, Guddu goes in there and kind of sets the tone for what's going to happen going forward, that he's taken over. And the guy, Sheku, isn't into it. You can tell. Well, Sheku ends up at the doctor and the doctor's family's house, who was helping Guddu. And he murders them all, except for the child. The child was hiding or something. But before the episode's over, Guddu finds a necklace that Sheku wears around his neck, so you know what's coming there. And then the scene ends with the CM. The brother of the CM is in a car with the assistant, and the last scene is the CM's car gets rammed, spun around, and he's lying in the car. You don't know if he's dead or not. So that was episode 7. Episode 8, Shao Chuck. I got to tell you what my favorite part of this was, okay? Guddu figures out Sheku killed the doctor and his family. He goes to the barbershop. I've never seen this in film. Death by hairdryer. He shoves the hairdryer in his mouth, turns it on. His eyes start getting big. Then the back of the hairdryer starts sparking out. Kills him. Loved it. Now you find out the CM is dead. And the JP is going to take over. But Anand, who is the assistant, has suspicions that the brother set him up because the brother was in a separate car, and he's never in a separate car when the accident happened. Guddu takes the child, the doctor's child, and Lala's daughter, what's her name? It's not Maduri. I can't remember her name, but she's going to watch the daughter. Originally, Guddu asked his mother, but only if he turned himself in, which he wasn't going to do. So then the cop, Maria, goes to Shadar to team up against Tripathi. And it's a good scene. And he goes, just because we want the same things doesn't mean we want to achieve it the same way. So that's not going to work. Now, the scene that I really liked, and the guy who plays Munna, I know I've talked about him a couple of times. I got to get their names down, though, right? Devendu Sharma. He's a psycho and he plays that really well, but there's a really nice, he plays a softer side with Maduri, and you can tell that he is really falling in love with her. And he plays that really well. Now, will the real Munna come back? Probably. And and again, excuse me, these are things that stood out for me. There's a scene where Guddu's in the barbershop and he's sitting in the barber chair, and it's framed and shot at the same angle they shoot when the Don sits in his throne in his house with the antlers in the back. So I thought that was a great callback. Um, and now Madhuri talks to the Dawn about Anand's suspicions about the brother. So she's planting that seed that he was killed. So then there's this crazy scene with the JP, who really is into sex with a lot of women, is in bed with three widows. They do this sexy dance, and then Miss Zarina films it. They're all handcuffed. They're all taking drugs, which is going to play into this later on. Guddu pays off the JP to get him on his side. And then he has his first public event. Now, this was interesting because this happened pretty quick. The JP takes over from the CM, his brother, and he's having this day of court, he calls it, and he's helping people. Well, in that day of court, he's accused by the widows that he was sleeping with the night before of sexual assault. And then he turns to Ms. Zarina, who's his assistant, and she turns on him. So everybody's playing everybody. And then it ends, and this was a great scene because, it's funny. The Don, Akanda, Kayleen, he's very stoic throughout the entire series. He's not emotional. He doesn't get emotional, really, ever. A couple times, but really doesn't. So he thinks because the CM is dead, the JP is out, and he's high up cabinet, that the CM's daughter, Midori, is going to back him to become the new CM. Okay? That's what he thinks is going to happen. Well, they do this press conference, and they're picking the new CM or nominating or whatever they do. And the daughter is giving an impassioned plea about now that he's gone, and one was my father, one was my uncle. That's why I recommend, and he's and Colleen is looking all like, she's gonna pick me. I pick myself. Now without showing too much emotion, you can see exactly what's going through his head. She played him. So everybody's playing everybody, okay? So that's how that one ends. Now, 9 and 10. Number 9, Butterscotch. Beena has a baby. It's a boy, okay? We've got an heir to the throne. The one witness they have about the wedding massacre, Munna, confronts, kills him. Now you find out Ms. Zarina, who set up the JP, is working with the Dawn. So it's crazy. It's crazy. Shadar plants a seed with Munna that someone now has got more power than him, meaning the father. So now Shadar is planting the seed to pit father against son. Okay, so the other thing is happening. Golu is falling in love with Guddu, but Guddu loves Lala's daughter. So she's not sure how she feels about that. So she calls up Tayagi Jr. and says, "Hey, want to have sex with me?" And she doesn't want anything else but that. But in the scene, she has him whip her. I don't know. Crazy. So she's a completely different character than she was in the first season. Lala meets Golu, says Guddu's getting too close and he'll handle it, and she doesn't like that. Munna finds Babar and kills Babar and Magpul's mother. And I didn't think that was going to go over too well with Magpul. And I felt that way. Magpul feels like a noble character to me, although he's loyal to the Dawn. And then Bauji at one point says Munna made a mistake. And then Keela says, big mistake. And that sets up the end of that show where Magpul is walking into the mansion with his Uzi. Now that's episode 7, 8, and 9. Now we come to the finale. And before I get to the finale, I want to say this. I've said this throughout all my reviews of this season. It's very different than season one. It takes a very different approach, much less crime drama stuff, in much more political intrigue, Shakespearean tragedy, everybody double crossing everybody, right? And that's why, for me, it kind of feels like Shakespearean tragedy. The finale kind of goes back to what it was like in season one. At least I felt that way. And I have to tell you, some of the stuff that happened, I freaking loved it. So, again, once again, Bauji's watching TV show. This time it's ants devouring its prey, which is appropriate because Magpul comes in and he wants he want. Oh, I got to get my names. He wants Kayleen to know what it's like to lose a parent. So he's going to go in to kill Bauji after what happened. And Beena walks in on him and says, "You can't do this. You can't do this." And you're like, "What's she doing?" I mean, after everything that Bauji did to her. Then she goes, "I want to do it." Okay. So she's going to kill him. And I can't remember what she grabbed. If she grabbed a gun, I think she had a gun. Oh, by the way, no, that happens later on. So she goes to the gun. Bauji's on the floor. He's bleeding because Magpul got one shot into him. All of a sudden, the servant comes in, the woman, and she's looking. And something like, "You can't stop me." She goes, "No, no, use this." And then it zooms in on a meat cleaver, and she gives it to Beena. I'm like, and then Magpul sits down on a chair and folds his arm, and she goes in and starts hacking him up. And I have to say this: he was one guy I was glad got what he deserved because he was awful. And by the way, while this is happening, the ant story on the TV is going on and talks about how the queen and they devour everything. It was a great scene. It was pretty chilling too. Okay, now Dada Tayagi finds out Junior's peddling opium. Okay. So that's not going to go well. He's going to confront him on that. Um, Guddu makes a decision about Shabnam, Lala's daughter. It's not going to be good for her to be with him because people die when he's around them. Okay. Then Beena, who's been working with the Pandit family, tells him it's time the family is weak. Father's dead. They're going to a funeral, all kinds of stuff. This is crazy stuff going on. Now, the cop, Moria, and and Gudu's father, they come in to arrest Guddu. And first he pulls out a gun. He's not going to let him take him, but then they endanger Lala's daughter and the little doctor's kid. He stops. He gives him the gun. So now he's going to arrest him, right? The father's in one car. Gudu's in another car with Moria. They go down this fork road. One goes left. Guddu and Moria go right. Okay, what's going on there? I don't know. Now back to the Tripathis. Uh, they're at a funeral, the father's funeral, a funeral pyre, and Munna and the father getting a little bit of a tiff, and Munna leaves angry. Beena thinks he might hurt her baby, who's also an heir to the Tripathi crime family. Okay, so she calls Raja, who is the father of her baby, or is he? Never made clear. Let me know what you think in the comment section. So now Moon is in his room taking a shower. Raj is going to stop it. He has that gun that the father had, that Colt or whatever it was. Starts firing away. And of course, they're all horrible shots. Misses, misses, misses. Finally, Munna gets the betters of Raja, and before he kills him, he goes, "Who's trying to kill me?" And Raja says before he's killed that his father is the one who asked him to do it, which is a lie. But again, everybody's manipulating everybody. Now Moon is pissed, going to go back to the funeral, kill the father. Now we go back to, oh, it's getting exciting. Now we go back to the cop who's with Guddu. He's setting him up. He's going to kill him. That's the plan. He's gonna make it look like Guddu was trying to escape, and he's gonna shoot him in the back. Well, Guddu's not gonna let him do it. He's gonna look me in the eye when you're gonna shoot me. Now the father, who's in a different car, realizes something's going on, so he goes back. Now there's some things in this that don't make any sense to me. There's another cop in the car with the father, but somehow the father gets away from him, and then the father's able to track them down. I don't know how, but he manages to find them. So just as the cop Murya is about to shoot Guddu, the father, Guddu's father, shoots the cop. Now, the lawyer's in with Guddu, but he's saving his son. And he goes, when you'll have a son, you'll understand why I did it. Okay? Now we go back to Dada Tayagi. He's got the two sons, and he knows that the son's selling drugs. He turned on him. I won't even get into it, but there's a whole thing. Now there's a big gunfight that's actually pretty cool. The two twins, or the twins, have a scuffle. They've each got a gun, right? They're going around and around and around. One of them gets killed. And they make it look like it's Junior. Okay, so Senior survives. Okay. Now, at the funeral, Munna couldn't kill his father. And that's when the father tells him, the throne is now yours. You're ready for this. I'll be like Bauji was with me. I will be with you. Now, Munna swelled up with pride. The father's swelled up with pride. Now all hell breaks loose. Shardam shows up. Sharad Shukla shows up with his gang. All guns, you know, they're hiding though because Guddu ends up showing up before they make the move. Guddu comes in. Now again, slight criticisms, okay, but they're small because I love this episode. Okay, I love it, love it, love it, love it. But there's Golu, there's Guddu, and he's got a couple of his gang members, right? The other guys get all these, automatic weapons. Somehow, Golu and Guddu just run in the middle of this, and they're not getting shot by anybody, but they're shooting everybody. Okay. Well, now they shoot the Dawn, they shoot Munna, they shoot the Dawn again, twice now. Once in the arm, once it looked like square in the chest. They hit Munna twice too, but Munna's still alive. Now this scene is fantastic. Munna's like got his back up against the brick, and Guddu just goes down and grabs him and is just staring at him like laser beams. And Munna's like, just do it, just do it. And he closes his eyes because he's hurt, and finally opens his eyes again. He goes, I wanted to wait till your eyes are open. Point blank, right at the heart. Boom, boom, boom. Gone. Moon is gone, which means no Moon in season 3. Big loss for the show. Even though it wasn't the same Munna as in the first season, there were still great Munna moments. And you almost felt a twinge of sadness for him because it seemed like he was really falling in love with his arranged wife, Maduri. So that was kind of sad. Now, the other thing, big criticism I have, as some in Sharad's gang were firing at Golu and Guddu, they're wiping them out. He manages to get Colleen, who's been shot, who looked dead, down this giant hill and into a car in the short time that this gunfight was going on. So Golu and Guddu turn around, the Dawn's gone. And you see as Sharad's driving away, the dawn's in the back and he's moving, so he's alive, which obviously sets up season 3. And then they do an after credit scene where it's actually well, excuse me, no, it ends with Guddu going to the mansion, sitting on the throne, the king of Mirzapur, which is the name of the 10th episode. Then they show the credits and the after credits scene, and this is where they show you that Tayagi, who was the junior who was killed, Golu's screw buddy, it really is junior, it's not senior. So the younger Tayagi survived that little skirmish. That's where it ends. Again, setting up season 3. So I have to tell you, I loved both seasons of this show, and they were really different. I mean, they were. And a lot of people really liked 2 much better than 1 because they said there was a lot more characterization, which is true. I actually like season 1 better. For one, Bulbu's character I really liked, and I really missed him in this. Now, the progression of the acting, Golu, Guddu, even Munna, I liked as your characters really changed from the first season. And I like both seasons, but again, I think I like the first season more. I'm going to try to do a trailer reaction for season 3 because I did see one, unless it's a fan-made one, which would really bum me out. So I got to tell you something. If I was to rate this entire series, the season 2, I'd probably rate the first one an 8, and I'd probably rate this one probably a 6. I liked it, but I thought there was a little too much trying to like relationship stuff. Like there was a lot of that, flirting and who's going to be with who. And I think I said this before, kind of soap opera-ish. But I'm looking forward to season 3, and I'll definitely watch this. I probably won't review it because, frankly, you guys don't want to see it. That's okay. I will tell you the next show I'm going to watch. I'm going to watch Sacred Games. I saw the trailer for it, and it looks a lot different than this. And I know Saif Ali Khan's in it, and there's also an actor, Nawazuddin Siddiqui, and I've seen him in Gangs of Wasseypur and Lunchbox. So that's the one I'm going to watch. And I might just watch the whole. There's only, I think there was 8 episodes in the first season. I might just watch the whole thing and do a recap of what I think about the whole series, since no one's watching this. I'm also putting together the lists for the movies that I'm going to watch based on the community polls, and I'm going to give the big show suggestions for the wheel. I might put that on a community poll too, because we're only going to put 6 films on the wheel, but I think I'm going to have probably 12 choices. And I want you guys to vote on which films we should put on that wheel. There's 1 or 2 that I really want them to watch that I don't know if you guys would vote for, but if I can convince you, I'd really like to do that. So keep an eye out for that. I should have that probably up by the end of the week. Anyway, thanks for everyone who recommended this series. I really, really did enjoy it. And I never thought I could sit through 2 seasons of a foreign show and get into it. And I really did get into it. So I appreciate that. Thanks, everybody. And as always, hit the subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the like button, and share this if you think anyone would be interested in someone's view of this series. So until the next 10ish minute review, this is John signing off, and we'll talk to you soon with another 10ish minute review. Thanks for watching, everybody.